make a point here. What was he speaking to them? God's word. When you speak God's word, people will hate you.
Oh, absolutely.
They will. And that's what he was doing. So I think, Dean, that there's no pride in here. I think God put it on his heart. You testify to them what I gave you. You're a lowly little punk in their eyes, okay? Yeah. And I want you to testify that I've spoken to you. And God pushed him and put the power upon him to where he couldn't help it but tell them, in spite of how much they hated him. So, but here's the key, all right? God's plans for us don't always look good from where we're sitting.
That's right.
Okay, I'll give you an example. The brothers are around. They throw him down in the pit. He's down in the pit, screaming for his health, for his life, and they're out there eating peanut butter cups. Okay? Now, when he's down in that pit, could you imagine one of the brothers saying, or some passerby come by and said, "Don't worry, Joseph, God's got great things in store for you in your life." Do you understand? Mm-hmm. What? Well, get me out of here then! Right? Uh-huh. Or imagine when he's caged up, just been sold for $2,700. Okay? Which that's what it equates when you see it. Alright? Don't worry, you're going to Egypt. Joseph, you're going to Egypt. You're going to a land that you've never been to. You'll never see your brother. He's thinking. Alright? Don't worry. God's got great plans for your life. How do you think that would have made Joseph? Or when Joseph gets cast into prison, he got accused of sleeping with Potiphar's wife. And he's in prison. Don't worry! God's got great things in store for you. See, looking from our point of view, we can't see what is in store for us. Mm-hmm. But I'll go back to your testimony. The pieces do come together. And they will come together as we read more of what happened with Joseph. Okay? They come together. He looks back. After this, his brothers apologize for selling him into slavery, and he says, "Look, you didn't have nothing in it. God wanted me to be sold into slavery so that I can go to Egypt, and so we can live down there for 30 years. And because what's going on now is they're about to assimilate with the Canaanites, okay? And assimilation is the same thing as disintegration. When you assimilate Christians with the world, what happens is you become like the world, therefore you're not a Christian. You're not a Christian, okay? The Israelites were assimilating. They were taking upon the customs of the Canaanites. They were about to cease to exist. Well, God couldn't have his promised nation being assimilated, okay? So he sends Joseph to Egypt, where they are protected for 30 years, and then they're put in slavery for 400 years, right? And then they come out, and that's where we pick up the scene with Moses. This was all part of God's plan. Mm-hmm. Go to Genesis 15. I don't remember what verse.
But
Genesis 15. Yes, sir.
When we are lost, we cannot see God's plan in our life.
No, you're
Brady
right.
and I were talking about.
You're right.
And we can, even when we're saved, we still can't see the long-range plan of God in our life.
Which once again,
we want to think it. We want to think that He has something good for us.
Which once again is more reason a person needs to be in the Word, because over and over again He tells you to wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord.
Over and over again. Go to Genesis 15. I'll find the verse.
But when Joseph met his father, then he wept and hugged him, and he knew that he was his father. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm.
So that's where faith comes in.
Yeah, right.
Here you go. Look here, verse 13. What's the Lord saying to Abraham? This is Jacob's papa, okay? Mm-hmm. He said unto Abraham, "Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years." How long were they, wait a minute, how long were they in the land of Egypt?
430.
430, right. But they were
Right.
Everything was going fine. He dies, Pharaoh, the new Pharaoh goes nuts, and they're in slavery for 400 years. God's already planned it before Jacob was born, before Joseph was born. He knew what was going to happen. He planned it and let going. And also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. Well, what happened? They come out of slavery. They got all Egypt's stuff. They got all this gold and stuff. They got all this garbage. Not garbage, but great substance. Okay? And then verse 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in good and old age. Okay? That happened too. Right. Abraham lived to be 185 years old, I believe. Right? Okay. So, all of this stuff God has already put out there.
That's right.
All right? So, God has put all these things out there for us. But while we're here, we can't see it. When we're in the pits, we can't see it.
Exactly.
When we're in the pits,